Dan Dickau here for Gonzaga Nation SI on the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. Talked a little bit last week about the summer basketball calendar, the summer basketball outlook for high school, AAU, college, and the pros. Obviously, we focused a lot on the pros at the Gonzaga level in the recent podcast, simply because there are so many Zag storylines in Summer League. Chet Holmgren's played really well. Andrew Nemhart's gotten off to a nice start. Joel Ayayi's playing well. Philip Petrushev is back in the States playing for the Sixers in Summer League in Vegas as well. But really what I wanted to touch on today was after the first eval period in July, what now happens for prospects, not just of Gonzaga, but for other programs that are beginning the recruitment process. So as I mentioned last week, there are 2 evaluation periods for high school players to play on their quote club teams, AAU teams, travel teams, whatever you may want to call them. There's 2 windows in the month of July, July 6th through the 10th, and then July 21st through the 24th, where college coaches can go out and watch players in those settings. And mention that the shoe circuits, the shoe companies, the major ones, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, have their top level teams that are playing in different places. It was Atlanta, it was Kansas City, it was Chicago. Those are the top level teams. And then you've got kind of regional events where there's a couple going on last weekend in LA. I actually coached a team in LA this past weekend. And in the second period, there will be a couple shoe circuit type events, the biggest one being Nike Peach Jam in Augusta, Georgia. Then there'll be another round of big time regional tournaments. Some are in LA, some are in Vegas, some are just outside Augusta, just to kind of piggyback and be in an area where there will be a lot of college coaches. And then you'll see some in Chicago and Houston and Dallas area as well. But essentially what will happen after this first evaluation period, where lots of names are floated onto a quote recruiting board for a school. So say there might be that first week, high school coaches, AAU coaches have reached out to staffs across the country saying, hey, you got to take a look at my guy. This guy's really good. He can play at this level. And so what college staffs will do is kind of sift through the conversations that they've had and try to figure out and understand who they trust with their recommendations. Obviously, if it's a shoe circuit team, they're probably pretty good. But does it make sense to go watch that team? Do they have players that might fit the roster down the road, or the style of play, or where are their roster needs in the coming years? So essentially, that first period, a lot of times will be spread out. Go see as many players as possible. 17U is mostly the focus, but then 16U gets some focus, and 15's occasionally a coach will stumble onto a game and a prospect that they like at that level. But it's really not necessarily the plan of a college coach to organize and arrange their schedule to go watch 15s. Now they will do that for 17s, and occasionally they will do that for 16s as well. But really what happens is you've got after that first week, when there's maybe a couple 100 and some guys on a recruiting board, hey, we need to take a look at these guys. Well, after that first 4 days of games or so, and a staff has had a chance to get their eyes on a lot of those players, they're going to focus in on some of the guys that they really like. Maybe some guys didn't perform as well as maybe they were advertised to be. Maybe a player was hurt and isn't going to play in the second session of evaluation period. Maybe a player just was an absolute standout and a staff wants to get another look. Sometimes what happens is one coach really likes a player, and they'll have another coach go watch that same player just to get a second set of eyes on that player, and really kind of come back and kind of form their opinions as a staff on a player. So really what's happening this week is staffs get back, have meetings, figure out who they want to target in regards to going out and watching in this second evaluation period. So if you're a prospect that really impressed a coaching staff, and now in this second period that's coming up, the 21st through the 24th, you have a program or a staff that is coming to multiple of your games, you are starting to become a priority for them in regards to tracking you and really watching you. A lot of 17s got offers over the weekend. Some 16s got offers. But really, the funny thing about how recruiting works these days is you have to cast a big, wide net and then start sifting it down. That's the majority of programs. Now you're talking the elites like a Gonzaga, a Kentucky, a Duke, a Carolina. You can probably throw Kansas in that mix. Those type of programs, they're a little bit more selective in who they're really going to go see and going to go watch and really kind of spend a lot of time and effort. I mean, you look at that last evaluation period. Yeah, Gonzaga had coaches that were out and about evaluating, but you also had Roger Powell Jr. and Coach Few in Las Vegas supporting their guys in Summer League, watching Chet, watching Nemhart, Ayayi, Petrushev, those kind of guys, and just being I guess front and center to show that, hey, just because you're done at Gonzaga doesn't mean you're done being a part of Gonzaga and the basketball tradition and the basketball culture and the basketball family. So just a little insight on how the calendar of recruiting progresses from that first week in July to the second. So it'll be interesting to see and hear some reports from different outlets, occasionally ours as well, about who Gonzaga is pinpointing, who they're recruiting, who they're really kind of watching closely. So for Gonzaga Nation SI, appreciate you listening on the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. You have any ideas? Send them our way at Gonzaga Nation SI on all the social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Send us some questions. Send us some thoughts. Send us some comments. We appreciate the feedback. Take care. Have a great day.